Ladies and gentlemen, gabestah here. This is the Silver Tank Challenge for the Proving Grounds in patch 5.4. And for the silver, you're introduced to a few new creatures that you'll have to face that basically add mechanics for you to deal with to protect your NPC friend. Now, this is on PTR, so you may notice that the NPC friend here does not appear in my party right now. This seems to happen sometimes where you'll start it off and the NPCs will leave your instance group, essentially. So it shouldn't matter that much in the tank situation since you don't really need to target the NPC that you're helping. But just keep that in mind that you will still get credit even if that bug actually appears and they are not in your group at the time. So the second wave here is a lot of foragers, so make sure you pick them up quickly with an AE attack or two, and then you can just help her DPS them down while maintaining your basic tank rotation stuff. Nothing too fancy about this one. Try to focus on the large as your primary target, so you can even out the damage a little bit since it has quite a bit more health than the smaller ones. And got a few seconds of downtime here. One thing you'll notice is that I have my statue down, which normally doesn't help a monk tank while solo, but since I'm technically grouped up, the procs of guard will actually apply to the NPC monk there and give her an absorption, which can be handy if a mob gets through and attacks her. So here you see the flame collar, which will initially spit out a large amount of pools on the ground. You can interrupt this first cast, but it's not a big deal if you don't, since the pools are not going to last very long. They don't take up much of the room. Just make sure you don't stand in the pools themselves as they apply a stacking dot. That does a lot of damage. Wave number 4 is again a group of foragers with a flame collar, this time a large one. And the large designation for the flame collars means that instead of casting fireball after its initial volley, it will cast pyroblast, which does a hefty amount of damage. So you'll notice that it does around 110, 120,000 every hit on me. And there's a nice guild invite. This is on the PTR, so sometimes you get those. So for the flame collar, especially the large one, use your interrupts frequently and your stuns if you need to buy yourself time to be healed up between the large bursts of damage. And wave 5, again, we have a couple rippers. These are just the minor melee guys, nothing special about them, and then a small flame collar. So focus on the flame collar if possible. And then we have a secondary set of spawns in the same wave, but it's just a number of foragers, so AE them, pick up threat, and then just do your normal rotation. And she will use Crackling Jade Lightning to AE anytime there are more than 3 targets available, which obviously there are here, and stuff will die very quickly with this. So you don't really need to focus on damage so much, it's just a matter of survival while she does the dirty work. And wave 6 is the first time you'll see a wind guard. These guys, of course, are large insect-like creatures, and their special ability is essentially they will use a knockback called Wind Blast, there you see it there, that dramatically reduces the threat built up on them or other creatures. It seems like just them, I think. But effectively, when this is cast, often what this means is that they will drop threat on you and go to attack the NPC. So if this is the case, you need to be ready to quickly taunt back and then attack them once again to reestablish threat. So whenever there's one of those active, try to keep it targeted unless something else takes higher priority. And that way, if it knocks you back and you do drop threat, you can quickly taunt it back. It's also useful to have a nameplate add-on of some sort that indicates, based on color or some other indication, whether you have threat on mobs around you or not. So I'm using the Tidy Plates nameplate add-on. And so you can see that by default, if I have threat, the nameplate is blue. But if I lose threat or I don't have threat, it's slightly larger and red in color. So this is a quick visual alert to indicate if I lost threat from a wind guard, for example. Wave 7 is wind guard and a flame caller. Plus I think we had a ripper in there. So nothing too fancy. Again, make sure you have the wind guard targeted or focused in some way in case it drops threat and goes to attack the NPC. And you can use stuns and whatnot on all these creatures, so that'll come in handy as well if you don't have a taunt at any particular moment. So the final wave for the Silver Tank Challenge is a large group of foragers plus a large wind guard. Not all that difficult, to be honest. So focus on the wind guard. That should be your primary target because it will knock you back and you don't want to lose threat as usual. So there's the wind blast. I did not lose threat that time, which is fine. One thing you can do is to keep your back to the barriers. When there's a wind guard and it knocks you back, it might be close enough to the wind guard that you can just quickly attack it once again without needing a taunt. The secondary spawn for this wave, halfway through, is a group of a couple of rippers and a large flame caller. So this can do pretty heavy damage to you, the combination of all this stuff, if you're not careful. Because this is the final wave, don't be afraid to use your damage reduction cooldowns, your long cooldown timers and whatnot, and basically just survive until she finishes everything off. And that's it. That's the Guide to the Silver Tank Proving Ground Challenge. As always, good luck, and thanks for watching.